Check out FlipsideGaming.com for all your gaming needs. Use the promo code HEROES to save 10% on all orders over $10 and support the channel at the same time. Hey there, this is John from Heroes and Legends. Welcome to part 6 of our 6-part look at the huge Dominaria spoiler that has happened. Now, if you saw the other videos, you kind of know the story, but let me just get out of the way real quick for anyone who just joined us. Basically, Wizards accidentally posted an article showing 142 cards from the upcoming set. Now, they did that on their Chinese language website, but they did own up to it, and they put the information out in all languages to everybody, and kind of kicked off spoiler season a little bit early. So we've been looking at all these cards. Now, they're missing some stuff. We don't have art, we don't have flavor text, we don't have card numbers, we don't have rarities, most importantly. So it's hard to completely evaluate these cards, especially when it comes to limited. So keep that in mind. This isn't a true card evaluation like we normally do on the channel. This is more of a first look, first impression, getting a feel for what this set's trying to do. Now, the cards you're going to see are mock-ups from Scryfall. They actually put together some mock-ups and put them out on their website, so that's actually kind of awesome. Now, let's get into it. Quick reminder, though, I'm not going to go into all the details since I don't have much voice left, but if you check out the description below, you'll find a few ways to support the channel if you're inclined to do so. If not, that's cool too. Let's get into the cards. Let's start off big with Karn, Scion of Urza. 4 casting costs. Legendary Planeswalker Karn. 5 loyalty. +1. Reveal the top 2 cards of your library. An opponent chooses one of them. Put that card into your hand and exile the other with a silver counter on it. -1. Put a card you own with a silver counter on it from exile into your hand. -2. Create a 0/0 colorless construct artifact creature token with this creature gets +1/+1 for each artifact you control. So this definitely shows us there is a artifact matters theme going on. We've already seen blue and black play around with artifacts a little bit, somewhat in red too, at least from what we've seen so far. Maybe there'll be more as time goes on. But regardless of all that, this thing will see standard play, this thing will probably see modern play, maybe even legacy play. Like, this looks like a really awesome card. First off, 4 casting cost, 5 loyalty. That's awesome. +1 is card draw. Now, I know your opponent gets to choose between the 2 cards, but you're still getting a card, and you have the opportunity later to go back and get the other card if it's really that important to you. So that's kind of awesome. And then, yeah, you can, for just -2, start creating creatures that work off other artifacts. This will see standard play. There will probably be new decks coming out. If not this next meta, the one after, or the one after, because this is just too powerful not to see play in standard. Remember, there are still a lot of artifacts from the Kaladesh block to work with. Also, if this card can shine anywhere, I'm kind of thinking maybe Vintage. This is an awesome card. Blackblade Reforged. 2 casting costs, legendary artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 for each land you control. Now, costs 3 if you need to equip a legendary creature, 7 for anything else. 7's a little steep, but there's a lot of legendary creatures in this set, so I think that's okay. And again, there does appear to be some ways to cheat lands into play. We saw some of that going on in green, so perhaps this is runnable in a lot of decks in Sealed or Draft. Also, could be good equipment for some commander decks. Dampening Sphere. Here's another card that's like the real deal. 2 casting cost artifact. If a land is tapped for 2 or more mana, it produces colorless, 1 colorless, instead of any other type and amount. Each spell a player casts costs 1 more to cast for each other spell that player has cast this turn. What? Okay, let me wrap my head around this for a second. 2 casting cost artifact that shuts down Tron, shuts down Storm, like among other things too. Like, this is going to be played all the time in Vintage, Legacy, Modern. Like, this is automatically a sideboard card, maybe even main deckable in like Vintage. But this is ultimately a card that is going to go from the set right into the entire breadth of Magic's history, right? Like, this changes the game for anyone trying to do some things that are maybe a little on the unfair side, right? Like, this forces you to play fair Magic. Can you imagine the reaction when you put this down at a table playing Commander too, right? Like, what? This card is nuts. Now, for limited, it does appear there's a few cards that do some things that you might want to sideboard this in against, but maybe not even as much standard, but still, all the other formats. This thing is insane. Forebear's Blade. 3 casting costs, equipment. Equipped creature gets +3/+0 and has Vigilance and Trample. Whenever equipped creature dies, attach this to target creature you control. Costs 3 to equip. Again, something else that maybe I'm interested in for limited play, especially if I have some bigger creatures that don't have evasion, like some big green creatures. The Trample could really help there. So, yeah, I'll be happy to play this some of the time. Helm of the Host. 4 legendary artifact equipment. At the beginning of combat on your turn, create a token that's a copy of equipped creature, except the token isn't legendary. If equipped creature is legendary, the token gains haste, costs 5 to equip. A little expensive here. I mean, 4 to cast, 5 to equip. Granted, the upside's good, especially on some legendary creatures, but you have to have the right board state, and you have to have the mana to pull this off. I don't know if I run this one all the time, honestly. Now, for Commander, I could see this doing some work, however. Howling Golem. 3 casting cost, artifact Golem, 2/3. Whenever this attacks or blocks, each player draws a card. I'd like this for Commander, maybe like Pillow Fort style decks, perhaps. Other than that, I don't know if I always play it because some decks are just going to be better equipped to get their resources out faster than others. And if I'm playing against somebody with a faster deck, then this could hurt me. So I don't really like that. Now, if I'm really confident that I have a really fast aggro build or something like that in Sail to Draft, then perhaps I run it. But honestly, I think I avoid this one most of the time. Alright, we got a good reprint here. One of my favorite cards from the old days, Icy Manipulator. It costs 4, it's an artifact, 1 tap. Tap target artifact, creature, or land. So the question is this still good today? Probably not. It's a big startup cost for standard with 4. It's asking a lot in today's environment. Limited though? Yeah, limited for sure. I'll play this. I think there's a lot of value to be had tapping down a land or an artifact creature, obviously. But sometimes the land could really slow down your opponent too. So really good inclusion for those reasons, and a really nice nostalgic reprint. Jechura's Familiar. Costs 4, it's a bird, 2/2 flying. Historic spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. Of course, that means artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. So this plays well with other artifacts. That's a good thing because it does feel like there's a theme here. And also, don't underestimate legendaries and sagas because they're all over the place in this set. So there's a lot you can do with this card. A 2/2 flyer, I mean, not hyper economical, but sometimes in limited, still really good. So yeah, it's not a standard card or anything, but I think it's pretty good in this environment. Another reprint, Juggernaut. Classic card. 4 casting cost, artifact creature, Juggernaut 5/3. This attacks each combat if able. It can't be blocked by walls. So yeah, I know attacking every turn can be a drawback, especially with 3 toughness, but at the same time, if you put this out early, especially if you ramp into it, this could be really powerful and your opponent could just kind of never get off the ground because this thing is just taking too much out of them early on. So I've had a lot of success with this type of thing in the past. I do think this will be good in limited. Again, not necessarily for standard, but for draft and sealed, yes. Mishra's Self-Replicator. 5 casting cost, 2/2, artifact creature, it's an assembly worker. Whenever you cast a historic spell, you may pay 1. If you do, create a token that's a copy of Mishra's Self-Replicator. So that's actually kind of fun. Now, paying 5 for a 2/2, though, that's not really fun. So I like the concept of this card, but I don't really see myself doing it, quite honestly. It's just asking too much for the startup cost for even draft and sealed environments. Now, if I casually want to play with assembly workers, a Mishra's Factory or something, it could be fun. Mox Amber. Here's a Mox. I'm assuming this one will be a mythic. And they were so excited they didn't even put the black background on this mock-up. But yeah, it costs 0. Legendary artifact. Tap, add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. So it is a Mox. The drawbacks this time being it is legendary, so you can't kind of work in multiples. You can. I mean, you can tap it for mana and then play another one and get rid of the old one. You can do that. But also, too, it's not something like they can maintain on the battlefield. So that's okay, though. Beyond that, yes, you do have to have a legendary creature or planeswalker in play for this thing to actually do anything. But I don't think those drawbacks are all that bad, especially considering planeswalkers are so powerful even in standard. So I do think this does see standard play in some decks down the road. I do think this sees play in modern, maybe even other formats too. Another fun card to have in Commander, definitely. Like, this is going to simply be a Commander staple, right? Like, why not? Because there are so many legendary creatures and planeswalkers you find in Commander. Just kind of makes sense there. And great cube card overall. This is going to be one of those cards everyone's going to want at least a copy of, and will probably have a pretty nice price point behind it. Navigator's Compass. 1. Casting cost. Artifact. Whenever this enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. Tap until end of turn. Target land you control becomes the basic land type of your choice, in addition to its other types. So I haven't really seen yet from the set like why I'd want to do that. I'm sure there's reasons. Interesting, too, that it gives you 3 life when it enters the battlefield for just 1 mana. So, I don't know, maybe there's not a lot of reasons. That's why it has that stapled onto it. I guess we'll see. Perhaps it's just for color fixing, maybe just an interesting way to fix color. If that's the case, it'll be fine for you if you're getting greedier with colors in your sealed or draft pools. Power Stone Shard. 3 casting costs. Artifact. Tap. Add colorless mana for each artifact you control named Power Stone Shard. Interesting card here, because It's a colorless ramp spell, only 3 mana, which is reasonable for limited, but I still have the question, what am I ramping into? I don't know yet. I haven't seen anything that makes me say, yeah, I want to fill my deck with these things because I need to hit this or that. There's no creature or spell that makes me really excited about ramp at this point. We still have more of the set to see. Maybe something will come up. If it does, this becomes more playable. I guess we'll have to kind of see. I don't know if I run this, though, honestly, a lot of the time over other things. Shield of the Realm. This costs 2. It's equipment. If a source would deal damage to equipped creature, prevent 2 of that damage. Equips for 1. Very cheap card, very cheap to equip. If you have an important creature, too, that you want to protect and limited, maybe it's okay. Don't know if this always makes your cut, though. Sorcerer's Wand. Costs 1. Equipment. Equipped creature has tap. This creature deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker. If the creature is a wizard, though, it deals 2 to the player or planeswalker instead. 3 to equip. We've seen a lot of wizards so far. Well, at least a fair amount of wizards. I don't know if we've seen enough cards to say a lot, but we've seen some wizards in blue and red, and this is a nice complement to them. But even if you don't have a wizard or lots of them in your deck, I might consider running this in a limited aggro build to push across late game damage and pressure the opponent. Sparring Construct. 1 casting cost, artifact creature construct, 1/1. When this dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. This is alright. At least there's opportunities to maybe not lose the 1/1 power toughness, but of course if this comes out on turn 1 and dies, then you don't get a lot out of it, so I don't know if it's good enough to always make my cut in limited or anything like that, but I'd consider it at least. Urza's Tome. 2 casting cost artifact, 3 tap, draw a card, then discard a card, unless you exile a historic card from your graveyard. You know what? In limited, looting's just good, so 2 casting cost, 3 to activate, even if I don't have any historic cards in my deck for some reason, which I probably do. But if I didn't, I'd still run this. I'd definitely consider running this. Looting is very, very strong. Voltaic Servant. Oh, Voltaic Key reference. 2 casting cost, artifact creature, construct, 1/3. At the beginning of your end step, untap target artifact. It's one of those cards I play if I have a target that I think is important to untap. If I have a lot of artifacts, this could be good. There's certain ones that we've already seen that are decent, and there could be more good ones we haven't seen yet. So, yeah, I think it could be a fine utility card, not for all builds, though, in limited. Alright, finally, we have a land cycle. The rare land cycle of the set is the Buddy or Check lands that we originally saw printed in Innistrad. So these are the enemy colored ones. Very good for limited if you're in these colors. These are great for commander. Nice choice. These will see standard play too. You have Clifftop Retreat, Hinterland Harbor, Isolated Chapel, Sulphur Falls, Woodland Cemetery. And with that, my poor voice, 142 cards. I hope I can do the Market Watch tomorrow. I'll get it out. Don't worry. I have time to rest my voice now. But at the time you're seeing this video, I don't know when it's actually going to be posted. It might be after the Market Watch, so hopefully I didn't sound horrible. But aside from that, I'm going to try to get all these out at the latest before Monday, because Monday and Tuesday we're going to have more preview cards coming from Wizards. So a lot going on right now, and hey, I hope this helped you a little bit. I know this was really quick, just almost like a speed run through these cards, but at least gives you an idea of what these cards are, what to expect. I really liked the Scryfall mock-ups. They help me wrap my head around the card better than just looking at text and walls of text, actually. So hopefully that helps you too. But hey, until next time, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, subscribe. Have a great day. Hey, thanks for watching. This video is made possible by the generous support of viewers like you on Patreon. Check out the description below for links to our Patreon page as well as our Amazon affiliate store, where a small percentage of all sales will also help support the channel. Finally, if you haven't had a chance yet to subscribe, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos on Heroes and Legends. Talk to you again soon, and have a great day.